Hi everyone, my name is Sreshtha Tewari. I am a woman in leadership coach, a wholeness certified strategist, and just basically someone who wants mental freedom for as many people as possible. Today I'm talking about reasons why our parents wanted us to become doctors and lawyers. So, for most of us growing up in an Indian household in the Caribbean or other parts of the world, there may have been or would have been a drive for you to aspire to either become a doctor or a lawyer. This drive would have had nothing to do with what you actually wanted to do. It would have nothing to really do with your aptitude. It would have to do with the fact that that was, in your parents' eyes, your ticket to have a good life. But what was this good life? So, understanding our parents' ancestry and the things they came through, indentureship, droughts, famine, periods of difficulty, periods of starvation, periods where it really wasn't easy to access the things we take for granted now. Imagine they were living in villages where all they knew was what went on in the village. Having access to things outside of the village was not easy and was only reserved for maybe the rich or the persons who had means in order to leave the village. So, ingrained in their bones is the fact that in order to survive, the careers that you could have to give you power being money in order to get basic needs, is a doctor and a lawyer. Because most likely, a baker in the village was just a baker in the village, wasn't seen as successful and having means to do what he wants. Or a farmer in the village was that, or other basic careers in the village was just that. And the life was normal, and maybe they struggled along with everyone else who had like a farm in their backyard or the agriculture. So these two professions were seen as those that could give you buying power. That buying power was your ticket to, one, not to starve, which was a real fear and still is a real fear in anybody's mind. Two, for you to have a good house over your head, meaning shelter, meaning they didn't want you to live in like a little wooden shack, because those things were seen as not being comfortable. Not that there's anything wrong with living in a house made of wood. Obviously there are log cabins and all these nice things, but they wanted you to have a good home. To have a good home means having a good job, a job that gave you money in order to have that power to buy a good home. They wanted you to have good clothes. I remember my grandmother not liking if I wore anything with holes. She didn't like. She thought she related it to not having enough, and not enough money, but not having safety, not having physical safety. So our parents, with this drive in mind, would have steered us into two paths: a doctor or a lawyer. And these parts were ingrained because in their minds, this was your ticket for you to have a good life, good meaning, food, shelter, clothes, access to things like water, basic things. And in their minds, they did not have to worry about you for the rest of their life, which is common, especially in Indian homes. And then when it came to the end of their life, when they needed support, most likely you would have been able to afford them that support if it is you had enough money, which gave you means for physical comfort. So I want us to understand that it is not a bad thing that what they saw was doctor and lawyer. It is what they were exposed to. They didn't know that you could become a baker, and this being a baker could turn into a multi-million-dollar business or an entrepreneurship like Auntie Annie's. They didn't know any of these things. They didn't know that being a pilot could mean that you have means to fly and to travel and to see different places, because that was not a thing that was normal. And actually, when things like that became normal, it was really only the rich who could have afforded it first. Comes back to money. So our parents, a lot of us, we feel and we resent them for pushing these careers and thinking it is the only way. But from where they came from, it was the only way for a good life. Thankfully now, we have exposure to so many things. We see the globe as a village as opposed to one little town as a village. And we know we have a lot of choices, a lot of options. We have many different means to get what we want. And we know the only way to survive is not, or the way to survive in life is not only by having money. We also know that in order to live a happy life, besides physical needs, we also need to be mentally happy, well, and emotionally happy. We understand that there are many more facets to an integrated whole life than just having physical needs met. Even though physical needs are important, it is not the whole of an integrated, happy life. When our parents are telling us or pushing these things on us, have compassion. Don't be angry, or try not to be angry. Try not to resent them, because they were just trying to figure out how to give you a life of comfort in relation to what they knew as comfort. How to ensure that you are not begging on the streets. How to ensure that you have good clothes to wear. How to ensure that you have shelter and your house is not flooded out or leaking or it's collapsing while you're sleeping. These were all real fears that they or their ancestors went through. And it is all they were trying to protect is you not having to go through that. So, why did your parent want you to become a doctor, a lawyer? To have money in order to provide for basic needs, food, clothing, shelter. That's it. They did not know the impact of pushing these things on us. They would not have known because they were not exposed. If this happened to you, if you are a doctor or lawyer and thinking, why the hell am I a doctor or a lawyer? Because you don't like it, know that you can change. Because you studied for something for 3, 5, 10 years, it doesn't mean that you have to continue along that path if you are not happy. Every day is a day to change. Every day is a day to do something for yourself that you love and that you want and that you enjoy. Don't take away that power from yourself. This is Sreshtha Tewari, purposefully passionate about life. See you again soon. Make sure to subscribe. Bye.